October 1552, a fortress in northern Hungary. 2,000 souls, soldiers, blacksmiths, women, children, stare across blood-soaked walls at an army 40,000 strong. The Ottoman Empire, unstoppable for a century, demands surrender. The answer from within? Silence. What happened next would echo through European history for centuries. By the mid-16th century, the Ottoman Empire stood at the height of its power, from the gates of Vienna to the shores of North Africa. Sultan Suleiman the Magnificent ruled the most formidable military machine on earth. Hungary? It had already fallen. In 1526, at the Battle of Mohacs, Ottoman forces annihilated the Hungarian army in less than 2 hours. King Louis II drowned fleeing the battlefield. The kingdom shattered into 3 pieces: Ottoman-controlled lands in the south, Habsburg territories in the west, and a narrow strip of independent Hungarian fortresses caught between empires. Among these fortresses stood Eger, a small castle in the northern highlands, strategically vital. Control Eger, and you controlled the road to Vienna, the heart of Christian Europe. By 1552, Suleiman wanted that road open. He dispatched one of his most experienced commanders, Ali Pasha of Buda, with an army estimated between 35,000 and 40,000 troops. Elite janissaries, Sipahi cavalry, engineers, miners, and the most advanced siege artillery in the world. Their mission was simple: take Eger, crush resistance, move north, standing in their way. Captain István Dobó and roughly 2,000 defenders. István Dobó was no legend yet, just a mid-ranking Hungarian captain assigned to an understaffed fortress most had already written off. He had around 800 trained soldiers. The rest? Civilians, farmers, craftsmen, women and children who had nowhere else to go. When word reached Dobó that a massive Ottoman army was marching toward Eger, the Habsburg command sent orders: evacuate, abandon the fortress. It's indefensible. Dobó refused. He knew what abandoning Eger meant, not just for military strategy, but for morale. If Eger fell without a fight, it would confirm what many believed: that Ottoman dominance was inevitable, that resistance was futile. So Dobó made a choice that changed history. He would stay, and he would prepare. He organized the civilians, blacksmiths forged weapons, masons reinforced walls. Women, yes, women, were trained to carry ammunition, pour boiling water and oil, hurl stones, and fight when the enemy breached the defenses. Dobó didn't have an army, so he built one from bakers and tailors. He stockpiled what little food and gunpowder he could. He drilled his soldiers relentlessly. He turned Eger into a symbol, not of what Hungary had lost, but of what it refused to surrender. When Ali Pasha's vast army arrived in September 1552 and encircled the fortress, they expected quick capitulation. After all, they outnumbered the defenders 20-1. They had no idea what was waiting for them. The bombardment started immediately. Ottoman cannons, massive bronze siege guns capable of hurling 300-pound stone balls, pounded Eger's walls day and night. The earth shook. Dust and debris filled the air. Entire sections of wall began to crack and crumble. But every night, under cover of darkness, Dobó's defenders did something the Ottomans didn't expect. They repaired the damage. Civilians hauled timber, stone, and earth. Masons worked by torchlight. By dawn, walls that had been shattered stood again, crude, reinforced, defiant. Ali Pasha watched, frustrated. This wasn't how sieges were supposed to go. He ordered his engineers to begin mining operations, tunneling beneath the fortress walls to collapse them from below. Ottoman sappers were the best in the world. They dug deep, shored tunnels with timber, packed them with gunpowder. But Dobó had defenders listening, literally. They placed bowls of water on the ground inside the fortress. When the water rippled, they knew. Tunnel beneath us. Dobó's men dug countermines, broke into Ottoman tunnels, and fought brutal underground battles in pitch darkness. hand-to-hand combat with knives and clubs in spaces so tight you couldn't swing a sword. When they couldn't reach the tunnels in time, they flooded them, diverted underground springs, collapsed them with controlled explosions. The Ottomans lost dozens of experienced sappers without ever breaching the walls. Ali Pasha had expected Eger to fall in days. A week passed, then two. The fortress still stood. Frustrated, Ali Pasha ordered direct assaults. Wave after wave of soldiers charged the walls. Janissaries, the elite infantry corps of the empire, disciplined and deadly. They carried scaling ladders, shields, scimitars. The defenders met them with everything they had: musket fire from the parapets, stones hurled by hand, boiling oil and water poured from above. When ladders reached the walls, soldiers and civilians alike pushed them back, sending attackers plummeting to the ground. And the women of Eger, they weren't just spectators. Historical accounts describe them fighting alongside the men, carrying ammunition through artillery fire, treating the wounded under impossible conditions, and in desperate moments, taking up arms themselves. One account describes women pouring boiling liquids on attackers and throwing stones when supplies ran low. Dobó used every psychological trick he could. When ammunition for cannons ran low, he ordered his men to fire at irregular intervals, sometimes silent for hours, then sudden barrages, to keep the Ottomans anxious and uncertain. He had defenders shout insults and battle cries to create the illusion of greater numbers. He rotated troops constantly, so fresh faces always appeared on the walls. The Ottomans couldn't understand it. How were so few holding out so long? Ali Pasha launched assault after assault, each one costlier than the last. Ottoman casualties mounted. Morale began to crack. Soldiers whispered, "This place is cursed." By early October, after nearly 39 days of siege, Ali Pasha prepared one final massive assault. Everything depended on it. October 17th, 1552, Ali Pasha committed nearly his entire force to a synchronized attack on multiple sections of Eger's walls. Thousands of soldiers surged forward. Cannons roared. The sky darkened with arrows. This was it. Total annihilation or breakthrough. The defenders were exhausted. Ammunition nearly gone. Walls barely standing. Every man, woman, and child who could hold a weapon stood ready. The Ottomans reached the walls. Ladders went up. Hand-to-hand fighting erupted on the parapets. For hours, the outcome hung in balance. Sections of wall changed hands multiple times. The fortress seemed on the verge of collapse. But Dobó refused to break. He moved personally from position to position, rallying defenders, plugging gaps, inspiring impossible courage. The civilians, people who had never seen battle, fought with ferocity, born of desperation. They had nowhere to retreat. This was their home. And then something shifted. Ottoman momentum stalled. Casualties became unbearable. Elite units that had conquered fortresses from Baghdad to Belgrade couldn't break through. As night fell, Ali Pasha sounded the retreat. The attack had failed. In the days that followed, Ali Pasha faced a brutal reality. He'd lost thousands of men. Winter was approaching. Supply lines stretched thin. And rumors, possibly spread by Dobó's agents, claimed that a large Hungarian relief army was marching toward Eger. The rumor was false. No relief army was coming. But Ali Pasha couldn't risk it. He couldn't afford another failed assault. His reputation, his army, the prestige of the empire, it was all on the line. On October 18th, 1552, the Ottoman army began to withdraw. 40,000 soldiers, the finest military force in the world, retreated from a fortress defended by 2,000. Inside Eger, the defenders could barely believe it. They had survived. The fortress was in ruins. Casualties were heavy. Food nearly gone. But the walls, battered, scorched, barely standing, still flew Hungarian colors. News of Eger's defiance spread like wildfire across Europe. In Vienna, Prague, Rome, Wherever Christian powers feared Ottoman expansion, the name István Dobó became a rallying cry. It proved something many had doubted. The Ottoman Empire could be stopped. The Siege of Eger didn't end the Ottoman threat. The empire remained powerful for another century. But Eger changed the narrative. It shattered the myth of Ottoman invincibility. It slowed their advance into Central Europe and bought critical time for Habsburg forces to reorganize. More importantly, it became a symbol. In Hungarian national memory, Eger represents something profound: that unity, courage, and preparation can overcome impossible odds. That ordinary people, farmers, blacksmiths, women, and children, can stand against empires when they refuse to surrender. István Dobó himself received little reward. He died relatively obscure years later, his greatest achievement nearly forgotten by official histories. But in Hungarian culture, in songs, poems, and eventually novels and films, the Siege of Eger lives on. It reminds us that history's greatest moments aren't always won by the largest armies or the richest kingdoms. Sometimes they're won by 2,000 people who simply refuse to give up. The fortress of Eger still stands today, a monument to that impossible victory. And on its walls, you can almost hear the echoes of cannon fire, of defiant shouts, of an empire that learned the hard way. Some walls cannot be broken. The Siege of Eger is just one of countless moments when the course of history turned on the edge of a blade, when ordinary people did extraordinary things. If you enjoyed this story, subscribe for more forgotten chapters of history. Hit the bell icon so you never miss an episode, and let me know in the comments, what lesser-known historical event should we cover next? Thanks for watching. And remember, history isn't just about kings and conquerors. It's about people like you and me, faced with impossible choices. See you in the next one.